Hello everyone, my name is Jess. I'm part of the group working on first portion of this, which is wireless attacks. The other group members we have are Miguel Ramos and Andrew Steely. I'm just going to be talking briefly about wireless attacks and what you can do to prevent them. When I first started out this assignment, I really didn't know anything about what is actually meant by client side. So first I had to go and break it down word by word. So a client refers to a program or a device that runs a program that requests information from a server. Good example, a web browser is a client, requests web pages from a web server, that is the server. So in this case, the client would be the web browser, or it could also refer to a computer that is running the web browser. It doesn't have to be a computer, it could be a printer, it could be lots of other types of devices. So what is client side referring to? This means the operation of an exchange between a client and server that are performed on the client side. This could be processing, data storage, data entry. It can be a lot of different things. So now let's talk about different types of attacks. So one of the biggest threats that I ran into is something called a wireless sniffer. The book didn't actually have the word sniffer. I'm sure they have another word for it, but this is a packet analyzer. So this definition came from the website at the bottom of the screen. It's a very useful source. So this piece of software is designed to intercept data as it's transmitted over a network and decode the data into a readable format. So the code that it's written in isn't actually an encryption. It's just a code. But if a person were to interpret that code, they probably wouldn't know what it means. So this thing takes that unencrypted data, the code data, and makes it into a readable format. So the way to help those, there's twofold things you can do. First of all, if that data were encrypted, the sniffer wouldn't be able to interpret what it was saying. So using secure protocols such as HTTPS, Secure File Transfer Protocol, and Secure Shell would allow you to have all that information automatically be encrypted. So if a sniffer were to come along, make their job a lot harder. And that sniffer would be itself defeated. They'd have to find another avenue to defeat your process. So VPNs is another element that was included there. Another solution that helps to protect everybody from wireless attacks is to disable that wireless connection whenever it's not in use. It is a convenient thing to be able to just open up your laptop on the network on campus or wherever you are and just be able to have it automatically search for the website for that, or for the access point rather, for that place. But there is really a great security threat posed when you do that, and especially on a situation like we were on an airplane or all kinds of different things. People can create their own access points, and they can do a lot of crazy things. So one of the best solutions is to disable that router, especially if your laptop is plugged into an Ethernet port in a wired network. That is especially important. If that's a workstation, if a workstation has the enabled radio and it's plugged into the Ethernet wired network, your radio just being on for no reason is a huge threat and a huge threat vector. So the other ideas for protecting yourself, taken from the source marked below. Just make sure that when you're logging in that you're not getting into an evil twin. So it'd be very easy to set up a router with a name that matches, and I'm sure you guys have seen this. I didn't realize what it was meaning, but I've seen it where I go to a place and there's a place that has its own, laundromat, and then there's a sub laundromat, and then there's another one that's another laundromat, and two of those might be from the owner, but it's possible that at least one of those is an evil twin, and people are using it to get people's data while they're sitting at the laundromat. So those are evil twins that we've read about. You also, if you have a firewall, you need to make sure it's turned on. So apparently some computers don't have them turned on by default. So just got to make sure that's not the case for you. Of course, The types of sensitive data are usernames, account numbers, passwords, credit card numbers, confidential emails. So getting an idea of what data is sensitive is important, because when you're using a hotspot, you need to make sure that you're on one of those sites that we talked about before. If it's a HTTPS or a secure file transfer, then you should feel a little less worried about it. But really, if there's any reason to doubt that you're not in a secure network, why would you risk it? So, and if you had to do it, there's options where you can do a secure tunnel and other options to get those transactions taken care of. So again, just turn off that radio when you're not using it, so that you can get away from this is that peer-to-peer Wi-Fi connections. That's the concern there. And so let's see here. Yeah, those are some other options that are listed there. But we're going to give this submit this video over to Miguel, and he'll help take care of the rest of the assignment. I hope you enjoyed.